What is up, everybody? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies that help make this podcast possible. First is my good friend, Mr. Ben Poole over at HVAC Tactical. You guys know about all the amazing gear that you can get. I rock it all the time. I love to support my friend. I know it goes to a good cause. Plus, not to mention, I think he makes some of the best HVAC gear that is on the market. But that's not why I have it up today. It's getting to be that time, ladies and gentlemen. The HVAC Tactical Awards and AHR is going to be right around the corner. AHR 2025 in Orlando this year. It's an amazing time every year. We need to, if you want to get tickets, now is the time to get them. Anybody can buy tickets. A lot of the times people think you have to be invited, and that's just nonsense. Anybody can go. You can go to their website right now and you'll click this, get your tickets. You go on, fill it out, and then you'll literally get your confirmation for your tickets. It'll be done deal before they sell out. And trust me, they will sell out fast. All these awards have been amazing. I've been to every single one of them, and they're only getting better every year. I highly suggest if you're going to be there that you should definitely try to go. This thing keeps scrolling. There's going to be a handsome bald guy. Oh, there he is. Look at that guy at the bottom of the screen. But yes, go get your tickets. Please do so. They're available to everybody. If you're in the Orlando area, if you live around there, or if you're going to be at AHR, the HVAC Tactical Awards is the Sunday before the show starts. Go get your tickets, even if you think you might go. All right. It's a lot easier to hit up Ben and say, hey, I can't make it, and turn your ticket back in than it is to say, oh, I'm going to be able to go, and then try to get a ticket. I've seen that happen too many years, and this is a sought after event. So if you're going to go, get your tickets now. Remember, if you're going to buy merchandise, I'm pretty sure Ben still has the discount code live. If you use the discount code HVAC Uncensored, no spaces, he's giving you 20% off. So I'm not sure how long he kept it up there. I'm pretty sure it's still live, that somebody just used it. So if you're going to go buy merch, use the discount code HVAC Uncensored. That is just for merchandise. That does not account for the tickets. But if you're going to get the tickets, go get them. Alrighty. Next. My friends over at Yellow Jacket. All of you been out there all summer making that summer money, probably buying stupid stuff. Well, maybe it's time to upgrade some of your tools before we start going into the winter season, or to finish out your summer season. And I think some of the new products that Yellow Jacket has are absolutely amazing. They are celebrating their 75th anniversary, and they've been making all this stuff right here in the United States of America. And that may not mean to some people, but it means a lot to me, because it's easy nowadays to lower your prices, lessen your quality, send it over to Mexico or China and have it made. And they haven't been doing that. And I really appreciate about them. Plus, I tell you, Yellow Jacket just reminds me of when I got into the trade and the first set of gauges that my dad ever bought me. And I've been using all of this stuff when I've been out doing these trainings. I've been using all the Yellow Jacket stuff only. I've been using this Titan digital manifold, which is actually sitting right behind me on my left. I've been using this manometer when I've been trying to, when I have to check static pressure or something like that. Also, the YJack Flow anemometer, which I'm going to have one to, they're supposed to be sending me some stuff to be able to give to you guys, and that is going to be one of them. So, like I always tell you, I will never tell you what to buy. Never. You'll never hear those words come out of my mouth. All I'm saying is I offer Yellow Jacket as a suggestion, especially now with all of these manufacturers being on like Measure Quick, which a lot of people use. You can have different brands. It's not to where, oh, I'm using brand A and now I want to use brand B. Now I got to go buy everything all over again. You can mix and match them. So it makes it easier for you to be able to try out different manufacturers without going all in and breaking the bank. All right. Also, my friends over at Yellow Jacket are on another sponsor of mine, True Tech Tools. So if you're going to go get some Yellow Jacket stuff and you cannot find it at your local supply house, go to True Tech Tools. They have one of the widest selections of HVAC R tools, and all that kind of stuff you could possibly find. I am big on supporting local, but if you cannot get it local, go over to True Tech Tools, use the discount code Uncensored, and save 8% on your order. With that being said, we got an amazing show. Let's get on with the pledge and get on with the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, Gil KV Jr. Here we are, another Wednesday, another hump day, and another amazing episode. Real fast, I want to apologize about last week. Got a little crazy. Some of these guests have been a little. It's been with booking, so I'm not going to get into it on this show. I want to keep this positive, but there will be an audio podcast coming out explaining some of the changes that I'm going to be doing moving forward with the podcast. So I will answer all those questions there. I just want to say I apologize. Needs to be a little bit better of a vetting before I let some of them come on, because I don't want to waste your time. I don't care about mine, but I don't want to waste your guys' time when you've been working all day and you come here to listen to some HVAC facts or fun or hear about a certain topic. But I can tell you that we don't have that tonight. We have an amazing show that I've been looking forward to getting into this. And it's a company that I didn't know much about personally, maybe within the last year or so. So I love this as much for me to learn as much as I do for everybody else. So I'm going to read a little something for you, in case you guys don't. So first, our guest tonight, we're going to bring him in here in a second, is going to be Mr. John Warpinski. He works for Partstown, and he is helping get these things when it comes to the HVAC side and get it on the ground and all this new stuff that they have. So rather than me say it, please help me put your hands together and welcome Mr. John Warpinski.
Hey, Gil. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here. Sorry, I was scrolling through. I printed out trying to get your title, and I didn't want to butcher it, so that's why I didn't say it. So my apologies.
That's all right. Well, just a little intro. John Warpinski, Director of Customer Partnerships at Partstown for all things HVAC.
Awesome. So if you don't mind, a little bit for people out there like me, I know that Partstown was huge, and in the kitchen industry and that kind of market. If you could let everybody know a little bit about Partstown and exactly everything that you guys do, because when I learned and we talked, it's way more than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. So Partstown, we got into, we kind of grew through the food service industry. And so you think of everything that has to do with restaurants, or anybody with a commercial kitchen has been our customer. Not just chain restaurants, not just mom and pop places, but you think about the hotels, the casinos, the military bases, anybody who has commercial kitchen parts, we help service. And since the pandemic and supply chain issues have been, they've gotten better, but they've been a little bit of a mess still. Many of our customers have turned to us and said, hey, can you get into HVAC parts? And we finally rolled that out about a year and a half ago. And now we work with majority of the top manufacturers. And it's been quite a success so far, seeing the reactions of people and the customers that we're supporting from a different aspect.
That's awesome. I love that. And and like we talked off air a little bit, is in the HVAC industry, which I'm sure it's the same in the food service industry, is being able to get what you need when you need it is huge in any service business. And we all know how it was going through COVID. Oh, I'll have that part in 3 months. I don't need it in 3 months. But knowing that you have another option to be able to get OEM parts, I think that that's a big deal, and in stock in a relatively quickly manner. That is huge moving forward. I don't think people understand, especially, to be honest, everybody listens to this. I mean, we have business owners, managers, technicians. We all feel that the same. So it shouldn't matter, regarding what your position is. That's a pain in the ass. And the fact that we can help fix that, or you guys can help take care of that, I think that is amazing.
Yeah, to that point, we do think that a lot of the generic parts have flooded the market over the past couple of years, and we do only supply OEM parts, and we believe that that's the way to go. Not only for ease of replacing, but it's safer, it's more energy efficient. So OEM, is one of our core values. And then making sure that we have plenty of stock on those OEM parts to ensure that, our customers have what they need when they need it. And, we have, soon to be about 1 million square feet of warehouse space where we, warehouse, hundreds of thousands of parts. And, our HVAC industry, inventory is definitely growing. And the manufacturers that we're supporting have, they've not only supported us, but we support them, and we're all working together. So, we're trying to be that backstop so that, when your local supply house doesn't have it, we're there for you.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I asked this question off air, and I know that some of you are probably thinking the same thing. I asked John, and I said, we've all had that where you call a manufacturer, and it doesn't matter regardless of who it is, but you call and you say, hey, I need this part. And they say, oh, we don't have it in stock. It has to come from the factory. It's going to be 2 weeks. That does not affect their stock. Like he just said, they have their own stock. So you could call a manufacturer and they could say that, and then you could go on the app for Partstown, and they could have it in stock, and you could have that part in less than 24 hours. I think that is awesome. I love everything about that, because having what you need to be able to do the job sometimes is half the battle.
Yeah, Gil, one of our other values is, we do same day shipping. So on all in stock parts, we make sure it gets out the door by, as long as it's ordered before 9 p.m. Eastern, it's on a truck and we can get it to you in 24 hours. So multiple shipping options, LTL, no, we aren't afraid of size of parts or quantity of parts. We want to make sure that the industry is supported.
That's really, really, really cool. I do want to address this, and I know that we talked about it, about one of the complaints that I heard that I think is absolutely retarded. I shouldn't say that nowadays. I'm going to get canceled. But I heard somebody talk about, oh, I was getting stuff through this company, and then Partstown bought them, and now I don't get the same discount. Or when I go on the app and the price, I'm not signed in, and the price looks like it's more expensive. Before I let John answer this, catalogs. My example, RE Michael is a big company here. When I look through the catalog, the price in there is going to be inflated. That's what we would show the customers. Man, look how much this cost. But then when I would call or I would log in, that's when I would see my discount. That's kind of common knowledge. So as far as the other part, I'll let you, refer to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anybody who's had that experience, I challenge them to give us a call, send us an email. We'd love to kind of, rebuild that relationship. And as for the people who aren't logged into our site, it's no different than the Grangers of the world, or, anybody else who has that online presence. We have to show, that retail price But once you log in under your account, we have you set up an account, we have discounts applied, you'll see your price. And of course, it's all based on quantity and how much you do. But, with HVAC, we're more than willing to have those conversations and get accounts signed up and, talk about pricing.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome. And John, I appreciate the fact that we talked about that off air and you didn't shy away. I said, is it okay if I bring this up? And you were like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And that means a lot because there's some places with some podcasts that I do, they're like, yeah, no, let's not talk about that. So I appreciate the fact that you being transparent. And also, I think that a lot of those are just nuisance things that people, a rumor gets started and it's not true. And I think the more that we address them in places like this, it squash it. It makes it go away because I think they're not really issues.
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than the general public walking into, some supply shop. They're going to pay double what contractor pays, and we do the same thing. It's part of the industry. We want to make sure that service technicians are supported with pricing. So, we have that upfront price on our website, and we keep it, protected by that login there. But anything we can do to support the industry, that's what we're here for.
I appreciate you. Well, you got a lot of people talking good about you guys in the chat. Partstown is the GOAT for kitchen equipment and refrigeration. That's Mr. Adrian, reliable HVACR. My buddy Rookie, I use Partstown daily. Same here, Scott. Somebody else does. And then somebody else said they have the great customer service. They have the best customer service. So that's good.
That's great to hear.
Feedback coming right in the chat.
Yeah, and we try to meet the customer on their needs, right? So we do offer phone, email, text, online, however anyone feels comfortable ordering. It's all about supporting the industry and supporting our customers.
So besides the parts, I guess, is there anything that you guys offer that maybe some people don't know about?
Yeah. One of the things that, and I don't know if you want to get into this now, but, kind of our technology, right? We look at ourselves not only as a distribution company, but a technology company as well. So things that we do to make technicians' lives easier, we try to take pictures of every part that we get into our shop. We have specialized cameras where we do 360 views of pictures in high definition. So you can zoom in on that tag on the part, make sure you're getting the right voltage, right horsepower, whatever you need, the right part number. We have other things. We have what we call our part predictor on the food service side, where you can type in the symptoms of a unit and if there's an issue, and you go through kind of the questions of it, and it spits out kind of the different possible parts, and we rank those parts. So you're basically giving a diagnosis, right? Saying that this is the most, based on that issue, this is the most common part that needs to be replaced. So we try to make things easier for technicians. As there's a shortage of technicians that are out there, and then an even bigger shortage of good technicians that are out there. We want to try and make it so the industry is, able to still do jobs. We make it easy on them. We have manuals on our site. We want to be that source for people to find what they need, and make the repairs quickly and efficiently.
That's awesome. So when it comes to the manuals and stuff like that, is that going to be for HVAC systems as well?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're working on is getting all of those manuals. Since HVAC is still relatively new, we want to make sure that you have, all the installation manuals, service bulletins, things like that. It is something that we are growing. Some manufacturers were better off than others. But we also want to get to the point where we have kind of the breakdown, like the parts breakdown as well. A lot of that stuff we have to do maybe a little bit more manually, but all things that we know are needed in the industry, because how many times are you searching for something and you don't know either what it's called or where it's at, and trying to explain it to someone over the phone. We believe information is key. So we want to make sure that every technician is able to find what they need on our website in 2 minutes or less.
I love that. So I have a couple of questions, people asking questions in the chat, but one would be, so I have a residential company. I have an account with Partstown. Is the manuals and all that just an added feature? Is it something I got to pay extra for?
No, it's all free. And a lot of times you just have to select the model number. You can search by model number, and then there'll be like a documents section on that model number, and you can pull up all the manuals that we have off of our site, save them as a PDF. You can save your equipment into what we call My Equipment, so that if you work on a common piece of equipment, you can save all of that stuff right on our site under your account. Same thing goes for parts. If you have parts that are needed to be replaced frequently, all of those features, again, are to make sure that our technicians are supported.
I love that. And so once again, just to re-ask my question. So whether I spend $500,000 or I spend $5,000 with you, all those features are the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can spend $0 with us and have all of those features.
That's awesome. I love that because not everybody does that.
Yeah.
And the other thing somebody asked, which I think I know the answer, it says, is Partstown just residential HVAC and like refrigeration food service, or can people get like commercial parts from you as well?
Yeah, we can get commercial parts as well. Since we work in commercial places, commercial parts are kind of our bread and butter. So, you think about all the different chain restaurants that we work with, all the different brands of rooftops. You think about the hotels that we're in, the air handlers, the pumps, even chiller parts. A lot of chiller parts we aren't going to stock. They're just larger parts, but we have access to them and can help you get what you need. Whether you're looking for consolidated billing or anything like that, we want to be that source for you.
Yeah, no, that's pretty sweet. And obviously I was just messing around with the app pulled up and going around, and it's all easy to find everything, easy to navigate. I feel like sometimes people, they go so fancy that it's hard to like be able to find things, and all this is nice and easy. So I definitely got to dig into this. I'll have to get my own login and signed up.
We don't believe in clutter, right? A lot of websites get to be quite cluttered, and we don't want that. We want you to find the parts you need. And so why should we have all these crazy things going on our website?
Yeah, and efficiency is huge, especially there's a lot of small businesses out there, people that are, they're running the business, but doing calls at the same time, and time is valuable. So rather than having to sit there all day and order parts where I can, bam, got that part. Oh, Mrs. Jones part. Oh, that sub shop part is, you know what I mean? You can get it all knocked out right in one little place. And that convenience is huge.
Yeah, Gil, when you think about the, technician efficiency, every shop is short on technicians, and you're being asked to do more with less people, and so how do you do that? Well, you know what? Let's eliminate drive time. Let's eliminate some of those factors that hinder getting to the jobs and getting them done in a timely fashion. If it's easier to order the parts online, and have them shipped to you in 24 hours, you're back on site to make those repairs. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer to do so. Now, again, we do believe that there's a need for brick and mortar as well. We never want to see that go away. I mean, there's plenty of hospitals and nursing homes and those critical care facilities that we know need to be up and running a lot sooner than 24 hours. But if you're on a PM and you're marking all this stuff that needs to get replaced, or you get the authorization to order the parts, Partstown is kind of that place for you.
Yeah, no, I love that. And one of my friends, Jason Johnson, here works on chillers and big stuff. So I'm going to ask this question for him. So I know you said chillers, big stuff, and maybe you don't have all that stocked. if it's not in stock, what kind of reasonable ship time would something like that be? Because obviously it can't still be 24 hours if you don't have it.
Yeah, we have, we are direct with about 80% of the manufacturers that we represent, and we have over 70 of them. So if it is something that needs to come from the factory, we do have access to that. So we do work with Trane and Carrier and York and Lennox, and, they are, they love working with us. So we have access to everything that they have.
Awesome. And Jason, you said what brands they have access to? Pretty much everything. So he said it's like over 70 plus different brands. So whatever you name.
And more to come.
Yeah, exactly. They probably have it versus they don't have it, Jason. So, and I know some new things, and I would love to know. I know time goes by fast, so I don't want to wait to get into it about this new scanner that you guys have.
Yeah.
If you want to let everybody know about that.
Yeah, so we call it our data plate scanner, and we talk about technician efficiency. We felt like this was the next step. Since we represent so many brands, we thought it was a great idea to be able to utilize some of the newer technology that's out there to take your app and just be able to take a picture of the data plate of a unit, and it pulls up all the parts for that unit. Now, it still is in beta, but it is something that we are growing very rapidly. So right now we have it rolled out for Trane and York and Lennox. Trane, York, and Carrier. So what it does is you take a picture, it's able to read the model and serial number, trusting that the data plate is good. It isn't worn out by the sun or anything like that, which a lot of times it is, but you can still type it in if you need to. But it basically reads that data plate, then it brings you to the parts page for that unit. So we're, again, trying to simplify it so you don't have to type in 16 digits into our website, or you don't have to call the local shop and human error, you're writing down something wrong. Is that a 0 or a 8 or a 1 or a 7, right? So we try to make it as simple as possible.
My buddy just works at just downloaded the Partstown app. See, look at that.
Love
We're doing podcast, John, getting people to sign up, baby. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Shoot me an email at hvac@partstown.com if you guys want to talk account setup.
There you go. So I'm curious, with the way that scanner works, is it one of the ones where it uses like the camera and like takes a picture of it, or the actual like the barcode? Or does it go off the barcode?
No, it goes off the picture. With the barcodes, look, bird can poop on it or something like that, and you're trying to read the wrong thing. So we actually take a picture of the data plate, and it's able to read the make, model, and serial number of the unit. You're able to capture that, save it. You're also able to send it to, if you have a purchasing team back at the office, say, here's the data tag for this. We just know that technicians work in extreme temperatures, right? Last thing you need to do is be writing something down, in minus 10 degree weather, when you can snap a picture real quick. You can even go back and upload the picture later on the app and pull that. So all you need to do really is just take the picture.
That's cool, because back when 20 years ago, when I first got into this trade, it was always, a little notepad and a pen. You were writing everything down. And nowadays it's all about taking pictures. And that's cool because you can use that picture, put it where you got to put it, get what you got to get, and then delete it, versus that way you're not going through your phone and you got all these pictures. You can't find your kids or your wife because you got nomenclature plates everywhere. So that's cool that they have the feature.
Yeah, and even if the camera doesn't pick it up, let's say it's a number off or something like that, we allow you to edit it as well. And then we can also, if you eventually we're going to get to the point, if it isn't rolled out already, that using our chat feature will automatically bring that information into, if you're searching for a part, you can't find it, or you have a question about something, it'll automatically go into our chat feature, and you'll be able to, whoever the chat agent is will have all that information already, so you aren't having to repeat yourself.
That's nice. I love that. Are you guys offering like any kind of like technical support on that side, or is that something you guys haven't got into yet?
So we do offer parts identification because we work with all the major manufacturers. We lean into them quite a bit. We are able to find stuff. I wouldn't say we're as technical yet as some of the local supply shops. We don't have people that can diagnose kind of what's going on. We're just, we're a parts house, we're a parts distributor. Eventually, we want to get to that point where we can support the industry in all aspects, including technical support. But I think we're still a bit of ways on that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And sometimes it's being really good at one thing. Sometimes I feel like some companies try to go out too fast, and then you're just okay at some things. When I rather, if you're really good at me being able to get my parts and get them quickly and accurately, that's huge versus, trying to roll out things prematurely. So I only ask that because I see these people asking things in the chat.
I will say that on the food service side, we do have technical support. So we do have hot side and cold side technical support. But when it comes to HVAC, we're still, a little bit, like I said, a ways away from developing that.
Does the scanner work with everything or just the HVAC side?
We've just rolled it out with HVAC. More to come on the food service side and everything else. We know that there's a need for it, but we're trying to work out the kinks from an HVAC standpoint first. Again, still in beta, but it is functional. And the other thing is that the more pictures people take, the more information we get to better support the industry. And we're only as good as kind of the model numbers that we have on our site. So snap away. We want as many pictures and as much data as we can get.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And I don't think people realize how big that is. It's not just snapping a picture of something, and I don't want to turn this negative, but there's some other things that were kind of similar where people would say, trying to, even if you had the avenue for me to get what I needed, getting from A to B was hard. And this just seems very simplistic, which, let's be honest, there's a lot of amazing men and women in the blue collar trades. Some of them are not the brightest. They'll fix anything you put in front of them, but they lack some common sense. So the easier that we can make this, I think that's awesome. And you can't get much easier than this.
Yeah, especially with OEM parts, right? We want everything to be as simple as possible. Last thing you need is for us to send you a motor that has 12 wires hanging off of it, and you got to try and, again, minus 10 degree weather, and you're trying to read a manual and figure out what wire goes to what. And, we're really trying to simplify the industry so you can get more jobs done. You can look better in front of the customer. Everybody's making money, and, that's kind of our goal.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And just a little history. Partstown is not a new company. Partstown's been around for how long now?
Yeah, so we've been around, I think, since the late 80s. We grew up in a small garage in Chicago, just supporting some of the local food service, companies out there with just a few brands. I think now we have, I don't know, over 1,200 brands that we represent, between HVAC and food service. So you can pretty much find anything from, any sort of food warmer to oven to refrigerator to fryer, now HVAC parts.
No, that's awesome. Somebody's asking, normally these guys are talking about nothing to do with the actual podcast. So this is awesome that they're all actually talking about Partstown.
That's great. Appreciate it, guys.
Yes. Somebody said, where did it go? When it comes to, this is somebody who actually uses you guys a lot. He said, why can't Partstown suggest crossovers instead of saying like the OEM part is like obsolete?
Yeah. So one of the things that, we like to say is that we have two customers. One of them is the manufacturer and the other one is a end user. And so for us to have as many brands that we represent, we really don't cross sell. It's just, no different than, us, trying to support a homeowner versus a, service company, two completely different experiences. We want to make sure that the people that are out there that are turning the wrenches are supported the same way that we want to make sure we support our manufacturers as well.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So let me ask you this: is there something that, I guess I was trying to make that kind of vague, I guess what came about that you guys, finally made that move into HVAC? We're glad that you did. But what was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back that said, hey, we could be helping people on this side of the business. We need to take that avenue.
Yeah, a lot of that was, the pandemic, right? We all dealt with the, distribution issues, supply chain issues, and, a lot of our major, chains that we work with, asked us to, and we were like, well, it's a pretty adjacent category, right? Many of the places that we work on, in commercial kitchens or work with, they all have HVAC as well. So it was just kind of a no-brainer to do it. And we didn't know, kind of how it would turn out if the industry would be receptive of it. But the more we dove in and the better relationships that we grew with the manufacturers, they were supportive of it. I think that there's a pretty big, pandemic also kind of hurt the OEM market. There's a lot of generics that were out there because of those supply chain issues, and we're trying to recapture some of that stuff as well. We all know that, OEM parts typically will make the life longer on a unit. It's more energy efficient. You may not see it up front, it's a cheaper part, but in the long run, you're actually saving your business owner money by putting in OEM parts. We believe that, if OEM doesn't go in there, you should at least be able to offer it.
No, I agree. Like we talked about off air, and obviously I've been mostly in the residential game the last few years with the company that I was running and stuff like that. And I'm a firm believer in offering OEM parts, especially, 20 years ago, the inefficiency of stuff, it wasn't a huge deal. There wasn't much difference between the two. But now I think it is. These things are more efficient. There's more technology inside of them. And I think going back with the OEM part is the right thing to do if you can get your hands on it. And with you guys, it sounds like I'll be able to have that next day to be able to go out, versus having to run to a supply house. Or the other fact that I want to bring up is, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to use this OEM, blower motor or whatever, so I can charge less. Yeah, maybe the part doesn't cost that much less some of the times. And normally putting in the generic is a pain in the ass because you have to adapt it over to something versus the OEM. It's plug and play. It goes right in. So for me, by offering generic parts, I wasn't saving anybody anything. I wasn't saving my company. I wasn't saving my technicians a headache. And the customer was paying close to the same for something that wasn't designed to go in that unit. So it just made sense to go back with the OEM. I get it if it's a Saturday and a condenser fan motor goes bad and, oh, it's nothing fancy. I can put this generic on there, get you up and running. We would come back with the OEM. We would do those kind of things. So I am a firm believer of putting an OEM when possible. And like I said, I'm speaking about the residential field. I get it when it comes to restaurants and sometime like that. they can't be down. They don't want to hear, I'll have it tomorrow. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So before you guys,
but if you keep a generic on your truck just to, for that Band-Aid until you can get the OEM part, right? Like to me, it's a better sale. You're actually making probably a little bit more money, by, either a return visit or, even just charging more for that OEM part. But you keep them limping along, right? That's ultimately what the goal is keep them limping along until you can get the right parts in. We were at visiting a customer in Las Vegas, large hotel / casino. And we were in their stock room and they had just hundreds of generic motors. We're like, what's going on here? And they didn't have access to the OEM parts. And, we told them we could get them, and they said, oh my gosh, that would be great. These motors, they only last us 3 months. The OEMs, look, those rooms are heavily used. What's the first thing you do in a hotel room? You crank the temperature down, right? So those things are going full bore. And, but the OEM ones last 3 times as long. So they'll get a full year out of them compared to the 3 months. And they found the value, even though they're paying a little bit more in the parts, they found the value in going back to OEM. And so, when you say there isn't a difference, in the long run, there is. It may not be in a year, but it may be, 3 years versus 5 years for OEM, right? You're doing a customer a disservice when you got to keep going back, again and again.
Well, plus, and on the residential side, and we'll go back to something as dumb as a condenser fan motor. Normally, we have the typical voltages, RPMs, 825, 1075. Some of these things now, they are different, where manufacturers are trying to make it so that they don't want you to use generic parts. And if you're going back and you're putting something in that is not the same specs as what was in there, maybe you have to replace the fan blade and it's close enough. It's a different RPM. You have now changed the efficiency and the capacity of that unit. Something so small can change it. So why go through all that if you don't have to? I get it if you have to in a pinch, but if you don't have to, don't.
Yeah. Just a simple 5 RPM difference can cause major problems in a unit. And, you're using more horsepower, or more amp draw, so your electric bill goes up. There's just so many benefits. Units are designed for a reason, and they should be repaired with the same thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. And for the record, Rookie in the chat, I started out in refrigeration, you son of a bitch, okay? So don't talk shit and bust my balls in the chat. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know we're getting close towards the end, man. These things go so fast, and I've had a blast sitting here talking. I wanted to bring up also that a lot of people don't know. Everybody knows Pat Finley, a good friend of ours. Like Partstown, it also has actual I know it's all owned by the same people, but it's different. But they actually have actual trade companies and schools and stuff on the food service side, right?
Yeah. So we actually, we have different groups, that are divided under the Partstown umbrella. We call it Partstown Unlimited is kind of our parent company. But we have, even a home side where we do home appliance parts. A main flagship store we call Encompass Parts. They're based down in, I think, Fort Lauderdale and Georgia. So, we ventured into a bunch of other avenues as well as we kind of grow. Again, it's just all about parts and making sure that, all of our customers are able to get what they need quickly.
That's awesome. And plus it also brings an experience that, you guys understand the distribution side because you deal with them. Getting people the parts that they need, with the app efficiently in a timely manner. But then you also almost have built-in feedback from technicians or extractors or whatever it is about what's going on. And that's good for any company to grow. You always need feedback to make better. And you have technically people that work under the umbrella that are your end user.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we try to keep that separate, right? Because the last thing we want anyone to think is that we're giving preferential treatment. So they operate independently. They have the autonomy to go to wherever they want to for some parts as well. So it's not like we're dictating that they need to be buying from Partstown or anything like that. We're not here to make every service company upset. We try to make sure that every company we work with is treated, and even that's treated fairly, and that includes our own companies.
That's awesome. So what is before we eventually start to close this thing out, all these things we're talking about on the HVAC side, they're all available like as of like right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out partstown.com, download the Partstown app, search for any of the major manufacturers. You can also search by category under HVAC, kind of see all the different categories we have. We're going to be rolling out, I think we have it on our website already, but some truck stock, things as well. We're working closely with, Diversitech. Everyone knows Diversitech for a lot of the cleaners and ancillary items that are needed to make repairs and replacements as well. So more to come on that. We're hoping to kind of make it a killer experience for auto replenishment of your trucks. How cool would it be to do a quick inventory of your truck on a Friday and have it there Monday? That's kind of the cool thing. That way you aren't going around to a bunch of different shops trying to get what you need when you can easily do it online.
Yeah, no, that is huge. Would you guys? Well, no, I guess that would go back as far as the manufacturers. I was going to say, would you guys ever get into like kind of the nuts and bolts side of it? A one-stop shop like the copper fitting, the PVC stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff isn't things that the manufacturers make, right? So that's fair game. We do have a number of copper fittings. We aren't going to have. We may get some roll copper or something like that, but the lines of copper, 10-foot, it's tough to ship that stuff. Again, we can get it if someone really needs it and someone wants it. But we try to stick with a lot of the fast movers, the easy stuff for people to get. So fittings it is. We know with the new refrigerant changes, that some of the different fittings that are out there for the presses, we'll be getting some of those soon here as well, to make sure that, everyone, people who are afraid to be brazing on a system, we're going to have those options as well.
I love that. So my last question to you is, when somebody signs up for an account, what is the verification process that they are actually a business owner, a company, and they're it's not a homeowner that's buying direct from you? Is there a way to be able to know that?
Yeah. So we do go through kind of a little bit of a screening process. If you go and just sign up, on your own on the site, you're going to kind of just go in with the general public, and you're not going to see advantageous pricing. I would recommend calling in or emailing, and where we can kind of work with you on the account setup, get an understanding of your business, understand what your needs are, and we're willing to kind of work with you on the pricing and stuff like that.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, we're getting close to time, John. I've enjoyed this conversation. Is there anything that maybe we have missed that you want to cover real fast before we start to close this out?
I don't think that there's too much that we missed. It's been a great conversation. I've had a really good time being here, and I just want to say thank you. This has been great.
Yeah, no, of course, man. I thank you guys for coming on, and this was educational for me. I mean, it looks like everybody knows about you in the chat, and I've always known about you guys. I didn't know exactly what all you did. So sometimes I learn just as much as the people watching or listening to this. So I'm so glad we had this episode so that I know, especially some things that I'm trying to do in the future. If I am going to do that, ordering parts and things like that I'll try to use through Partstown. Plus, I might be on the app, putting in an application. I'm trying to work with Partstown. But John, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I really love this. And if anything changes, you guys unveil something else or something else pops up, please message me. I'd love to have you back on and talk about it. This has been really fun. So if you didn't hear, last week was kind of a rough show. We'll just say that. And this week has been awesome. It's been fun, and back to why I love doing this. So I really appreciate you coming on. This has been a blast.
Yeah, of course. And, likewise, come out to Chicago. Let's do a show out there. We can live stream some of our distribution center. We're not shy. We like showcasing it so that your guests, your listeners can kind of see everything that we do, see our robots, see our miles of conveyor. It's a pretty big spectacle. So more than welcome to do that. And, anybody out there that's listening, HVAC at partstown.com. Be happy to help you get accounts signed up, or if you have accounts and want to revisit your pricing, shoot me a message.
Awesome. And any information as far as getting in touch with John, it's not down there now, but after this gets released, all of their links and all that stuff to get in them, I'll have in the show notes. If God forbid you don't see it, email me. Info at HVACuncensored.com, and I'll make sure I can get you in touch to get all this set up. So, Rookie, you heard it. We're going back to Chicago, not for AHR, but we're going to see Partstown. I hope to see you at AHR in Orlando, man. I can't wait to meet you in person. So, John, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Let's go ahead and close this thing out, man. Guys, I had so much fun tonight. Thank all of you for coming back. Once again, I apologize for last week. It is what it is. You know me. I will always concentrate on the positivity, so we'll just move on. But this was awesome, man. Like I said, I learned a lot. I've heard a lot of you talk about Partstown and say different things, and I've never personally used them, but now I'm very intrigued and I want to. It makes me want to find out more and keep digging into it. So that's awesome. And I love that is out there. Yeah, guys, thank you guys for being there, man. Please make sure you follow the podcast on all the social media sites to stay up to date on everything that I have going on. Next week, so this audio episode will be out Monday. I did not have an audio podcast this week. You guys know the reasons for that, and I don't like skipping weeks. But there will be a random audio podcast that's going to drop as a special episode, which is just going to be me, myself. It's not live. And I'm going to be explaining some of the things that I have for the future of this show and some of the avenues that I'm going to take it. So if you guys want to hear that, go ahead and check that out. And I might release some of the video parts of that, on different social media platforms like the shorts. But the long form content to get it all at once will be an audio podcast probably later this week or sometime next week. That is not Monday. All right. So thank you guys. With that being said, let's close this thing out. Please remember to be safe out there. We all have somebody to make it home to. I want you to make it home the same way you left. Keep your head on a swivel. I don't care if you're driving. It's crazy out there. I sat in 2 hours of traffic going to see Mr. Zeke this morning. Lanes shut down, people driving crazy. So please just be careful. I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way that you left. Okay? Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. Nowadays, there is no reason to say, I don't know. It's not a good excuse. We have the interweb at our fingertips. If you want to know something, you can find out. Be the best version of you, whether it's listen to a podcast, read a book, an online course, whatever it is. Or if you're really good at something, give back to the industry. Help train somebody else. Help build somebody else up. And guess what? It's going to make you better. Me doing the ride-alongs, and when I started doing trainings, it made me better because I had to know what the hell I was talking about, like to a T, to be able to properly explain it to somebody else. All right. So be the best version of you. And there's no such thing as staying the same. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. All right. Don't get stale. Keep it funky. Keep moving. All right. Yep. And with that being said, man, I love you mofos. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's keep moving these blue collar trades forward one day at a time. And with that being said, I'll talk to you mofos next week. All right. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
Also, thank you to my moderators, HVAC Rookie, Jason Johnson, Zeke Warner, and Mr. Reliable. Talk to you later. Bye.